Hi guys, thanks for watching another episode of Nadia TV, and today I wanted to cover how to make your own chocolates. So this is a fun process and it's really easy. It's fun to do with your kids. So we're gonna use the measuring cup and we're gonna use coconut oil. Oh, I just love the smell of it. And we're gonna use half a cup of coconut oil. Go. I have half a cup of coconut oil. It's warm out now, so it's so the oil is runny. But if it was cold out, the oil would be more solid. So you have to know that if it's above 75 degrees, it's gonna be watery. So it's a watery coconut oil. This is great. Just 3 ingredients, remember guys, 3 ingredients. Then I'm using raw organic cacao. So this is great because this is just raw cacao, and I'm gonna use half. Why we want to use raw cacao and not some Hershey's cacao powder? Well, because this is actually a real thing. So we're not using cocoa powder, we're using cacao powder, which means they basically take a cacao bean and they shred it to pieces. That's it. They don't process it. So this is it. I'm using half a cup of coconut oil and half a cup of cacao. So I have half a cup here. I'm gonna add it up. And we have this mixture here. And to that, I would add coconut sugar. So it's coconut palm sugar. It has a much lower glycemic index than a regular sugar. It's actually very low glycemic. It's a really good kind of sugar, and in chocolate it gives it a little bit of this caramel taste, which I love. So you're not gonna get that with a regular sugar, but if you want you can also add honey. I like to make it with this sugar, so I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons. But it depends how sweet you like your chocolate. So, and it depends if you're planning to make something into them later. So at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this mixture of cacao and coconut oil and sugar, and I'm gonna put it in my pot with water, and I'm gonna mix it together till it's all mixed in and melted. Sugar needs to melt a little bit, and after that I'm gonna come back to you and we're gonna put it into our forms and then put it in the fridge. Okay, so while that is melting and mixing, well, it's not gonna mix itself, but it's melting and mixing, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use. This is the forms I'm gonna use. They are soft and they work well for that kind of stuff. And now I'm going to talk about things that you can add to your chocolate. So sometimes you can put fig pieces or something. What do you like your chocolate with? And you can add things to it, but you don't want to melt it together with the main ingredients. So depending on what else you're going to add, you want to adjust the sugar in it. So I'm going to add some nuts. I have some hazelnuts, so I'm going to throw it at the bottom of my form. So you see, like, I'm gonna have hazelnuts inside there. So I'm gonna have a hazelnut in my each chocolate. I think it's gonna be very tasty. And then I have a cacao nibs. That's just actually cacao pieces, cacao bean pieces, crushed. So this is going to be really nice and crunchy. So I'm going to add this to my other chocolates. the cacao bean pieces to make it crunchy. And this way it's gonna make it even more chocolatey. And if you like, you can add cayenne pepper, of course, if you like a hotter chocolate. Maybe I'll put it in the ones that where I'm adding cacao bean pieces. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little bit cayenne pepper. But you can also mix it in the mixture. I just don't want to make all of my chocolate cayenne pepper chocolate, you know, maybe a little too much. So I'm gonna have some chocolates with a hazelnut in them, some with the cacao pieces, and this one I'm just gonna make plain chocolates. So that's what we're gonna make. So guys, I'm back with my jar full of chocolate. See how it's all blended? So because I use coconut sugar, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually scoop some from the bottom, because I don't blend it all the way in. So I leave it like a little bit grainy. I like it because it creates this feeling of caramel in the chocolate. So I don't know, it just gives us a more caramel smell, a taste. So I'm gonna scoop out some of the stuff from the bottom and pour in my forms. Only one thing about these chocolates that I need to tell you is that I'm gonna put it in the freezer for about an hour and they're gonna be done, but probably even less than an hour. But you have to keep them in the fridge on your like day-to-day basis because they melt pretty quickly. You can use cacao butter also as an addition to your coconut oil, which is a good option. But and then they're less melty, just because as we just talked about, coconut oil melts at a temperature over 70 degrees, so it's gonna melt. So it's best to have it in the fridge and take it out when you are about to eat it, which is a good option, I think. Anyways, you probably don't want chocolate lying around. That's pretty dangerous, don't you think? So anyway, I'm almost done here and I'm gonna put it in the fridge, and that's gonna be very nice tasty chocolates coming out of it. And I'll see you once they're ready. Okay, so I'm done with the chocolates. They've been in the fridge for long enough to be able to come out, and this is what they look like. You see, and there's a little nut inside it. So I'm just gonna put it in the little bowl, and I'm just gonna keep them in the fridge. So this way, when you want a little chocolate, that's great. But you know, a quick tip about this is, because they melt so quickly, you don't want to make them too big. So if you can find even smaller ice cube trays for the smaller pieces, that would be great, because then, you know, if you don't want to eat a ton of chocolate and you don't want to be covered in chocolate while you're eating it because it's gonna melt in your hands, you want to try and find the small one and just make the tiniest chocolate pieces. So then if you want a piece of chocolate, you just use a small tray and you put the small piece of chocolate in your mouth, and that might be enough to satisfy your craving for chocolate, as opposed to the huge and big pieces. So this is the ones that come from the other one. See how pretty? So pretty. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys next time, and please share this video and let me down below in the comments if you like the chocolates that came out of it. I hope you did. Thanks so much. Bye guys.